back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lauren. This is my channel, obviously. And this week I have with me my best friend Taia.
Hey guys.
She's from Newcastle.
Well, not Newcastle itself. Don't say that because if there's any Geordies watching, they'll actually have my head.
You speak like
I'm
a
from
Geordie.
Durham.
Have you ever actually seen any like the Geordie Shore lot in like on Toon?
Yeah, I've seen Scotty T when I was like 15. I was at Eldon Square, and he was getting a smoothie, and I was like, oh my god, it's Scotty T! And then like I've seen Sophie one time in Primark, but by the time I was like 18, I was like, I really don't care now.
Oh, sorry, Indy. You're on Catfish in the Bottle Room by then. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories not under the sea.
Under the sea.
I don't know why I did that. I hate myself.
It's supposed to be mysterious, but we have too much crack together for it to be that dark and serious, don't we?
Yeah, innit? Some of it is absolutely mind blowing though.
Yeah, like the thing is, we've been watching like Shane Dawson and that, but they do it seriously, and like the background music and like the effects and like the whole feel is so scary, isn't it? I won't be able to do that.
Yeah.
It'll just be us two creasing like, yeah, the Earth's flat.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about a few different things. One of them is the flat Earth made of my map. We're not saying that we believe any of these conspiracy theories. We do. We're just saying that it's interesting to talk about and discuss.
You don't know if you know the whole truth.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. We're going to be talking about how the government's corrupt, about how people watch us through our phones, about how they know. Another thing that we're going to be talking about is you've got one that you're really into that I don't know much about.
The Jonbenet Ramsey case. So
we're going to get into that because that's not one I've heard of, but I'm going to do a bit of research and I'm ready to be educated.
And I'm ready to be educated about the flat Earth.
Yeah. So let's get into the video. Okay, so something that I think we're both really passionate about is that the world is not what it seems.
It really isn't, guys.
You don't know.
We are so small, we are tiny, and when you think about it, what we know is all that we've seen in the media and in the news, and subliminal messages are everywhere, and I think it's just impossible that they can't brainwash us, because they really can. Like, you are brainwashed.
Yeah, definitely. Like, everyone knows the media is corrupt.
The UK is the most corrupt country on earth, using Gibraltar, Jersey and other territories to funnel dirty cash.
Journalists at Rupert Murdoch's Sun newspaper allegedly paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to corrupt officials for story tip-offs.
Pressure is mounting on Rupert Murdoch's media empire after the arrests of 8 people over alleged corruption.
The UK is already the most, without doubt, the most corrupt country in the world. Transparency groups have shown this with irrefutable data.
Everyone knows the news is corrupt. Everyone knows that like stuff doesn't get reported that should in like other countries, and things are sent to like cover up and things like that. Like, it's crazy, but everyone knows that, even if you just believe it on a tiny scale. But who's to say that's not happening on a huge scale? Who's to say that's not happening about the shape of the earth? Right, so I, like the next person, believe that obviously the flat earth, yeah, you're just a bunch of loonies.
Yeah, like when you said it as a like topic to do with your video, I was like, what are we even going to talk about, because the earth is not flat. But after actually like reading up on it, it's quite interesting, because like the motives and like why, I don't know.
Yeah, flat earther. So yeah, the flat earth, basically the earth is flat. No, basically there's a theory that the earth is flat. So basically we watched some videos, and the things that they were talking about was like, why would you even believe that the earth was flat? Like, what would even make you question that? But we went right back to like, well, everything we know about our earth is a theory. Like, everything. Gravity is a theory.
Yeah, the Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang Theory, the theory of gods. it's all theories, like nothing's been proven, you don't know.
Yeah.
And when you start to question those things, you start to realise that it could be on like a bigger scale. Everything that we know about the Earth comes from NASA.
Yeah.
And NASA is a big company that has already been called into questioning about the moon landing. And it's a company that makes money. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing is that basically all of the photographs that you have seen of the Earth are photoshopped, because when they take pictures of the Earth, like, you know, when you Google it and you see it like in space, you cannot possibly get far back enough to take it all in one shot. So what they do, and what they have to do, is go round it and take different pictures and piece them all together. So every image that you see of the world is
real.
Is photoshopped, but it has to be. That's
yeah.
There's no other way around it, right?
But that in turn can in itself form distrust in NASA.
Yeah.
Because what you see isn't, but as well, like, that isn't, I wouldn't say that's commonly known. I didn't know that. Like, there's people out there, probably a lot of people that don't know that
because
that is.
You'd never think about it.
Yeah.
Why would you ever think about that? You're just told something and you believe it.
Yeah.
Well, why? Why do we believe it? Why do we believe people that we've never met who thrive off the ego and the money and the corruption, and we just believe everything they say?
Yeah.
Like, that's mad. At any given time, you can only get 3% of the world in a picture.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like 3%. Do you know how many photos that is that they're piecing together?
Yeah.
So basically, people are saying that the Earth, like, they can easily Photoshop the sphere.
Yeah, and just compile all the pictures together.
Not that this is a trusted theory either, but in the Bible talks about there being a dome. So you have the land, the sea, and then you have the heavens above, and there's a dome, and the world is like it goes to four corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't believe the Bible, really. I wouldn't say I'm not religious, but
yeah, it's just interesting that a book that was written, or because even if you don't believe that the Bible is actually comes from the word of God or Jesus, the Bible was still written by somebody a long time ago. I don't know, it's just strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another thing that we came across a lot that was talked about is the
Antarctica being the border. Like an ice wall.
Yeah. So obviously we, as the Sophia, know that there's like the North Pole and the South Pole at the top and the bottom, but the flat earth theory basically explores that Antarctica is not at the bottom, but it goes the whole way round. If it's square, it goes the whole way round the edge of the earth, and that it's like a wall, like an ice wall. Now, in the 1950s, there was a treaty signed to stop anyone from going into Antarctica. You cannot go to Antarctica without being heavily monitored. Like, you just can't do it. That is true. You can Google that. It's called the Antarctica Treaty. It says it was signed to keep Antarctica like peaceful. There's no human population anyway, but to keep it like geographical so that humans wouldn't mess with it. But that's never worked for the rest of the world. What about the rainforest that they all destroy?
Is it because we'll come across a wall?
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Just walking and dush.
Yeah. So flat earth people will believe that if you was to go and explore Antarctica, you would get so far and you would hit a wall, and then you could only walk like a diameter.
Is that the real reason that we're not allowed to go there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because really the idea of like hiding that information from people is, we don't hide any other countries like that.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Surely it'd be better if they were going to do stuff like that to protect the countries like the rainforest.
Yeah, exactly.
They grow
they
and
haven't
make
protected
produce.
that, have they?
No. Another thing that was talked about was like, if the Earth was a sphere, how come no matter how high you go up on a plane, you can't see any more than just a horizon? Because like, as a person, you stand up like whatever, you can see like a 3-mile radius around you. So the higher you go, the more you should be able to see.
Yeah, and the Earth, it did say 24,000 miles or something.
Yeah.
Which isn't... It isn't that much that you, if you're on a plane, that you wouldn't see some sort of like...
Curve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then a topic that came into particularly the Shane Dawson video was about a certain flight that was travelling from the Philippines to Los Angeles. Now, on the flight, a pregnant woman basically went into early labour and they had to make an emergency landing. So they made an emergency landing in Alaska. Now this caused conflicts because on the flight path, if the Earth is sphere, to get from the Philippines to Alaska, you have to go in an L shape. But if the Earth was flat, like when you see on a map, it's a direct line. It's a direct line from the Philippines to Alaska. Now, we Googled it, didn't we? Because we wanted to make sure that we're actually... the actual examples we're using have facts of dates and stuff.
So I went on to so there was like this article and it was like debunking flat earth theories, and that's pretty much all you see. Like, it was just, wasn't it? It was all just like trying to get rid of these flat earth theories. And then on one of the articles, it led you straight to, it was like, this is the original article in the LA Times. And when I clicked on that link, it was like, sorry, we're having issues with the website and we're not able to show you the article. So the original article isn't there. Like,
Conspiracy!
I was like, what?
So we couldn't read the original article, but if you Google flight from Los Angeles to a flight from the Philippines to Los Angeles, emergency landing in Alaska, you'll see the same thing. There's lots about the actual woman giving birth. There's so many articles about, debunking this, debunking that. There's nothing to actually tell you the facts of what happened or really why it can be debunked.
And you said you found the same as well with other conspiracy theories.
Yeah, so other times when I've done polls on Instagram about conspiracy theories, it's like, you know about these conspiracy theories, they're often in videos or YouTube videos, people talk about them. When you actually want some concrete evidence to back you up, like certain things about 9/11, there's just not there. It's like worded really weirdly, you can't get anything from it. It's so bizarre. But that makes perfect sense, because why would the government want you to believe these things? Why would they want to put the information out there? It's just like YouTube has started cutting down on showing you conspiracy theories in the searches.
Yeah.
So you have to search really hard to find conspiracy theories about stuff. Like, it won't just come up anymore, or it won't just be like part of your...
Yeah, it's not really like advertised, is it? It's the other way around. It's like flat earth lunacy, flat earth idiocy. And you gotta think, like, there are a lot of people that think that the idea of flat earth is like lunacy, but it's not the reason there's so many trolls out there and the government want you to not believe that is because they're hiding something.
Yeah.
And you've got to question that, I think. Like...
Yeah. Obviously, like, this whole idea of the flat earth has been completely debunked straight away, because the second you say flat earth, everyone goes, oh, don't be so stupid, like, that's so dumb. Like, everyone thinks you're an idiot and everyone discredits everything you ever say. Like, why do we not question that? Why do we question nothing? Like, why do we all just believe that it cannot possibly be flat when none of us actually know? Even scientists don't know. Like, they don't have any... Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously people who can look into space and people who go out in space and things like that, but so much can be photoshopped.
And so much is, like, photoshopped.
Yeah, but the regular me or you or Joe down the road doesn't actually have any proof that it's Sophia, apart from what other people say. They don't have any primary research to say that, and I'm not saying that we have primary research to show that it's flat. There's a reason why people want you to think that this stuff is stupid and that it's dumb. So we kind of then looked into like, well, why would the government want to hide that the earth is actually flat? Like if it's flat, it's flat. If it's not like, what's the issue? And basically what a lot of people are kind of suggesting and saying, and what makes sense to us, is that if the earth is a sphere and we just happened on accident, which personally I don't believe anyway, I've never understood how, as the earth is so intricate, like to the detail, how that can happen out of an explosion.
Yeah, it's a bit mad. It's
like even if you argue, well, evolution, like you know, when the earth was made, humans weren't made like me and you, but still humans, like the first humans, they're, which party is that for? Green Party. Keep getting flies through the door because the elections are coming up. So if
Sophia,
if we just happened on accident and we just happened like an explosion, like atoms went from like the tiniest things, like thousands in seconds, then that means that we're not really here for any purpose. We're not here because we were placed here. The world doesn't revolve around us. We're just like part of an accident. We're almost like part of a science experiment.
We have no purpose.
We have no purpose.
But
that in turn creates like a bigger issue where the government can make us think that like the earth could go any second, we could go any second, we're replaceable.
Everyone's replaceable.
But like we're not, there's no point to us. We're just here to live, work and die, and that is something that is brainwashed into you from when you are born, because no one believes they're here for a purpose.
It serves them.
Exactly. So but basically if the earth is flat and there is the flat land and the heavens above and a dome, we're here for a purpose. We're not here on accident. We're purposely meant to be here. And like, imagine what that could do if everyone thought that. Like if everyone thought that we're actually here for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, and this is what people get from religion. They believe they're here for a reason. It's kind of liberating in a way. It makes you more fulfilled as a person.
Yeah.
You know, because the government will dumb down anything that makes you feel like you're important. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
100%.
They are literally trying to kill us.
Well, of course, like you see it in like obesity in children and promoting. All they want is they want their money. Money. It's all about new phones, new technology. It's keeping the poor and the rich and just getting all your money, and that's all they want. Because
if people were actually worried about obesity, the government would just shut down fast food.
Exactly.
And just shut down takeaway.
If the government were worried about smoking, then they'd stop selling fucking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I swore.
No, it's fine. But they don't, because it makes too much money. It's what they profit of, basically. And
they profit off our dumbness.
Yeah.
And they dumb us down, they give us tablets, they give us shitty food, and they keep us where we are.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk about like how certain drugs are illegal purely because of the way they expand your brain and make you think, when prescription drugs and alcohol that will dumb all that down, in a sense, perfectly legal.
Yeah, this is honestly like such a thing I don't understand. Like, alcohol is a depressant drug. It depresses the brain. It causes violence. It causes people to act in ways that they wouldn't usually act.
It literally kills.
It's such a massive killer drug, and yet that is legal. You can go to any shop if you're over the age of 18 and easily buy alcohol. But you know, the devil's lettuce, like, I sit at home on a night and have a spliff.
That's the sound of the police!
And let's be honest.
So what, we get drunk. So what, we smoke weed.
But I'm dead to the world. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
I'm in my own home. I might order a takeaway, give some profit to the local Chinese takeaway, but I'm dead to the world. Do you know what I mean? I'm not doing anything wrong, but that's illegal. And it's the same with, like, obviously harder drugs like MDMA, acid, psychedelic drugs, and like cocaine, Class A drugs. Yeah, they are bad for you. But
Are they?
Ooh, you're hard.
a lot, I guess physically, but then again, that's another thing, like what we're being told, I guess.
Exactly. They talk about this drug, don't they? I don't even know
DMT.
Yeah.
DMT is like a psychedelic drug, but it's a plant. It's actually it's not synthetic. But I mean I've never done it DMT, but I've been
the one
told,
they were talking about on that video?
Yeah, but I've been told that it like expands your mind and gives you like a spiritual experience and like allows you to like kind of see the world in a different sense. Like that's what I've been told anyway.
Yeah, and they were saying on that Shane Dawson video that when people do it, they hear people speaking to them like, "We're so glad you found this technology." Like, it's crazy. Like, it's actually crazy. Just, doesn't it make you like clam up?
Yeah,
like,
literally.
nothing is as it seems. And I think that it's all about that control. Like, the world wants to like the people in power want to have control over the way that we as humans think. Like, even this stuff like, you know, Momo, it's like that thing, you might have seen it on Facebook, and it's this horrible, I don't know if it's like a cartoon or it's a person or whatever, and it pops up in the middle of kids' videos and it tells them how to kill themselves.
What?
Have you not heard about this?
No.
Google it now. It's crazy, and basically it pops up in the middle of kids' videos, like, you know, on YouTube, and it shows them how to kill themselves. It shows them how to, it like says bad things. It tells them to do bad things. And I've got friends who have got kids who have seen it.
That?
Yeah. Yeah. How come we've got all this technology, all this software, and yet
That's scaring me. I don't think I can watch that.
that can't be blocked?
What?
Like, there's constantly theories about how the world want us to like kill ourselves, and they want us to become ill.
Yeah.
And about they actually do have the cure for cancer, but it's about population
It's
control.
easier for like whoever's like up there to keep us sad and to keep us depressed and to keep buying medication and to keep buying alcohol and to get ourselves in poverty and with mental health problems, because I don't know.
It's easier to control people.
Yeah.
You control people out of fear
Yeah.
and out of like manipulation. Like, we all know that works. You only have to look at history and look at the Second World War and look at people like Hitler and Stalin and Mussolini to know that people will bend to you out of fear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that people will do things in fear. And if you know, imagine what we could do if we realised our potential and our Earth's potential, or if we realised that like what we'd been told wasn't true.
Yeah.
Like, imagine thinking that the actual Earth was created for us.
Well, it is like
Specifically, and we are here for a reason.
the food that grows on our earth doesn't grow for nothing,
Exactly.
and yet we're really abusing it.
And there's all sorts of things about people killing us through vaccines, and should we really have vaccines and jabs, and that's not something I'm saying I believe. It's just that
It would be easy to.
exactly, yeah. People say about the water, the tap water that you live, like, they put chemicals in it to make us like,
dull down your
what,
third
what
eye.
if we
and-
what if we don't, what if we're not supposed to die around 80? Like, what if that is just because of the things in our life, like the meat and the things that are in our water, or the medication that we're on, or
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? Who knows what's possible? But the defo covering stuff up, 100% the
Oh
covering
god,
stuff up.
yeah.
So those are some of our like discussions about
The world.
the world we live in. Just question everything. Like, question this, question that. Like,
Challenge yourself.
yeah, of course.
Like, you're not harming anyone. Like I say, go smoke a spliff and think about the world. Okay, if you're under 18, don't.
I'm not involved. This, honestly, these guest judges, you know, guest speakers. Stay in school. But yeah, just question everything. Like, people don't question things enough. I wonder if this video will get like I wonder if it. Obviously, I'm not a big.
I reckon
channel
it'll get
anyway.
1,000 trolls saying, lay off the bong!
We were saying that as well, like how robots are literally created to debunk things. Like,
Yeah.
if you tweet something or you put something on social media, there's trolls like straight away who will come to like give you hate, and it's to make you look stupid so that what you've said is debunked. Like, why is the government trying to do that if they've not got anything to hide?
Try it. If you've got Twitter, like go on Twitter and just write something like really wild about 9/11 or some like conspiracy theory, and I swear there'll be people all over your mentions like, you're crazy. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's
Shall we do it?
Really weird.
Should
Should
see
we
if anything
actually?
happens?
What should I write?
Just write like unpopular opinion that Earth is 100% flat.
Okay.
But definitely like anyone that has a following, anyone that has like, I don't know, is like Insta famous or like.
People are gonna think that's my mind.
But even you saying that.
I know, but okay. Like my friends will be like, Taia.
Yeah, so the info's out there. Watch videos. I'll link the Shane Dawson video below because it kind of blew my mind. It made me think like, okay, this might be possible. Like, it might actually be possible that everything we know about space and Earth and its shape is a fat lie. So
And Shane Dawson is bitter.
love you, Shane. Notice us, Shane. Sponsor us, Shane.
We love you, Shane.
Shane forever. So, another topic that we wanted to talk about was, well, actually, like I said, I don't really know much about this. This is much more something that you're passionate about.
Yeah, so it's the Jonbenet Ramsey case. It's not very like covered in the media. I don't think a lot of people know about it.
I'd never heard of it.
But there is a YouTube documentary. If you just type in Jonbenet Ramsey documentary, and then
I'll
it's
link it.
yeah, do that.
Link in the description below.
And it is quite interesting because one of the things, so Jonbenet Ramsey was she was a pageant girl and she was 6, and so she was always wearing makeup and like taking part in pageants. I'm a bit nervous again. So Jonbenet Ramsey was a pageant girl. She was 6, and so her mum and dad woke up on, it was Christmas night, I think, or Christmas morning.
I think it was the day after.
Or it might have been Boxing Day morning.
Yeah.
And so her mum rang the police and she was frantic and she just kept saying, my daughter's gone, there's a note, my daughter's gone, there's a note.
911 emergency. Police. What's going on? 5515th Street. What's going on there, ma'am?
We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please.
Explain to me what's going on, okay?
There's a note left and our daughter's gone.
A note was left and your daughter is gone? How old is your daughter?
6 years old. She's gone. 6 years old.
How long ago was this?
I don't know. I just found the note. And my daughter's
Does it say who took her?
What?
Does it say who took her?
I don't know. There's a ransom note here.
It's a ransom note?
It says SBTC. Victory. Please.
Okay, what's your name? Are you
Kathy Ramsey, I'm the mother. Oh my God. Please.
I'm sending an officer over, okay?
Please.
Do you know how long she's been
No,
gone?
I don't. Please, we just got out. Is she right here? Oh my God, please.
Okay, girl.
Is somebody?
I am, honey.
Please.
Take a deep breath,
Please,
okay?
hurry.
Patsy.
And then when she like thought that the phone call had cut off, they said that they heard 3 voices. So and the family was Jonbenet Ramsey, Patsy was the mum, and then Jonbenet was the dad, and Burke, who was the older brother, who was 9, I think it said.
Yeah, 9.
And so they said that there was 3 voices at the end of the phone call, which firstly goes against the evidence against Bert, because the parents said that he was asleep when they rang the police. And after enhancing the phone call and investigating in the phone call, they said that her voice changed. So when she was on the phone, she was frantic and she was like, help, my baby's gone. And then and then when she thought the phone call cut off, she was like, I've rang the police, what do we do? Which firstly, like, that strikes alarming bells, because if you're frantic, then you don't just change, do you know what I mean? Like, and why was she saying, what are we gonna do now? Like, what?
So this case is unsolved still to this day, but this happened in 1996, which isn't really that long ago. You'd think you'd have heard something, or your parents would remember something. Like, there's literally nothing.
And no one's being prosecuted.
No.
There's been no real leads.
So after the police were around and stuff, like, they decided to have one last look for her body, and her dad, John, found it in the basement. And basically he found her body with duct tape over her mouth, her arms tied behind her head. They found her actual cause of death was asphyxiation, so strangulation, basically. So they determined that she had been hit over the head and then she had been strangled, and that was what caused her death. Apparently, the way her hands were tied, like, she would have been able to still get out.
Because it was over a jumper, so they said that if she was alive when she'd been tied up, that she would have been able to crawl out of a jumper.
Yeah.
Which kind of plants the seed that, like, did she die and then that was a cover up and she'd been tied up. But as well, like, the ransom note, that is like such a big thing in the case, because when Patsy was saying there's a note, she was saying there's a ransom note, and the ransom note was, like, analysed, and 4 people wrote out the ransom note, and it took no less than 20 minutes.
So this ransom note was 2.5 pages long. Like, the ransom note was 2.5 pages long.
And the pen and the paper were found in the house, so it belonged to Patsy. So it wasn't like they wrote it before they got there. This person would have needed 20 solid minutes. And the people that rewrote it knew what they were writing. So the person who wrote the ransom note wouldn't have known what to write, so they would have had to think about it. So it would have took even longer than 20 minutes.
It's just weird. Like, first of all, why would you kill a child, then write a ransom note whilst the body is there in the house? Why would you not just be worried about getting the fuck out of there? Also, who writes a ransom note for someone that they've killed and then left in their house? Like, you write a ransom note when you've got that person alive and you want money in exchange for that person, or you'd at least take them and kill them somewhere else so that no one would know. Why would they ever think they were going to get ransom money when they knew the body was going to be found, because it was literally in the basement?
Yeah, like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
And whoever, like, there was weird things in the ransom note, like, they said, we're a small group from a foreign fraction, which one implies that they're foreign. So if you were trying to cover up, if the family were trying to cover up something, then they would want to get the police's attention away from them. So they would probably try and use a group of, like, say, like, a foreign fraction. And we're a small group. Like, if you were trying to come across as, like, I've got your daughter and you're going to give me this money, you'd want to make it out that you're a big and scary and powerful. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they offered, the amount of money that they asked for, was $118,000, which was, like, weirdly close to the amount that Jonbenet, the dad, got for his Christmas bonus. And, like,
such a random number. So, like, why 118? Like,
exactly,
it's strange. It's all very, very strange. Like, a lot of people think that the parents killed her either accidentally or on purpose, or that the brother killed her, and then they staged this, like, kidnapping and death or whatever to basically cover their own arses.
There was also, like, evidence that she'd been sexually abused in her life, and possibly at the murder scene, but all the DNA that was found, and she had DNA under her fingernails and fibres on her clothes and stuff, but it was all so contaminated because the police had allowed her parents to have friends over, and it was still a crime scene, but it was dealt with so unprofessionally.
So when the police arrived at like 5:30 in the morning that Patsy Ramsey phoned the police to say that her daughter was missing, they then invited all their friends over. Now, some people argue this is understandable because everyone was looking for her and they'd called all their friends and they'd come around to help. What this meant was, though, is there was lots and lots of DNA in the house, and there was lots and lots of DNA on the carpets and on the furniture. When her body was uncovered, they allowed her dad to bring her upstairs and lie her on the lounge floor carpet, the carpet that everyone had been walking on, that had everyone's DNA on. They also allowed for a blanket to be put on over her, someone else's blanket. I don't know why you would lie someone on the lounge, like your daughter on the lounge floor anyway, but even so, it would be the perfect cover-up, because then what happened was apparently there was over 160 people's DNA on this girl's body by the time they came to analyse it. They had no way of knowing who had last seen her, who had last been with her. It was just... It was crazy. All the evidence got contaminated. Yeah, and it was impossible to prove like whose DNA was on her and all this stuff. Like, it was just crazy. Another thing that was brought up in a video we watched was thankfully, like, none of us can speak on this, but especially us, like, we don't even have kids. When your child was to go missing and you found a ransom note, and the ransom note said, do not call the police, do not tell anyone. I'm not being funny, but if that was my child's life at stake, I genuinely think I would not tell the police. I would just follow the instructions. Or I would try and do it in a really secretive way. I wouldn't have loads of friends over to help look, because then it's obvious. And if that was going to risk my daughter,
so much attention.
I would just do what the note said. I would literally do whatever the note said for my child. Like,
that's your child.
Yeah.
Like. In the window, that is such a big piece of evidence, like, for me. So in the basement,
where she was
there
found,
was a hole in the window, which the family never did anything about because they thought that they lived in a safe neighbourhood and a safe environment, so they didn't see any rush to get it sorted. But what it had left is a cobweb in the corner of the window, and so people said that if there was an intruder, that cobweb would have been completely, like, abolished. It would have been messed up, and the cobweb stayed the same.
Yeah.
So
they were saying there was no way it could be an outside intruder because there was no force of entry, there was no break-in, and if they had climbed in through that window pane, which it wouldn't have really been possible because it was small, then the cobweb would have been disturbed, but it wasn't. It was still in place, and no one came in through that entrance. That's why a lot of people think it was the family or a family friend, or it was planned, or it was the family with someone, or whatever. There was a few people that were involved in this case who were also suspects. Someone called Michael Helgraff. He actually admitted that he did kill her, but then weirdly enough, 2 months later he committed suicide. So it never went to trial. They never looked any further into it. A theory that a few people believe is that he might have been an accomplice of someone. So when he killed Jonbenet, because he was talking and he was admitting it, that whoever his accomplice were actually killed him or made him look like he killed himself because they were afraid that he was going to talk and was going to say their names too. Very, very strange that he admitted that and then killed himself. Literally 2 months later. There was also someone else called John McCarr. He also admitted that he killed her, but there's photographic evidence of him being somewhere else in a completely different state at the time of her death, so it was physically impossible that he was there. The police suspected he was probably just someone who was obsessed with the case or obsessed with her.
That's also weird though. Like, I've heard like cases in the past where people have like admitted to murders that they've never committed, and I just think, like, how messed up is that? Like,
some people just want to be like infamous for that kind of thing. There are theories that because she was a pageant girl and she was always in loads of makeup and they can sometimes wear quite skimpy and provocative clothing, that it was a paedophile that had seen her in a show and that had come after her. But again, it's really difficult when there was no forced entry.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole thing is wrong, like the whole note is so weird. They actually brought in loads of different people in and around the family, all their handwriting, and you had to send it off, and they compared it with the ransom note, and the only person who had any similarities to the handwriting that was in the note was Jonbenet's mother, Patsy, and also a handwriting specialist or whatever determined that it was a woman who had written the note because of the way the language was, and it was very maternal. And it's just strange, like, who writes a 2.5-page ransom note?
Someone that's trying to cover something up,
100%,
I think.
yeah. They've just thought about it too much, and you can tell it's planned. Like, I think if you was going to kidnap someone for ransom, you kidnap them and then you write the ransom note and send it in, or the ransom call or whatever. You don't do it at the scene. You don't do it if you're going to kill that person
half an hour
and dump it in the basement. And you're not going to kill someone, go looking through for a notebook and pen, write out a 2.5-page ransom note. Why aren't you bothered that someone might not,
how did they
like...
know where the paper and pen was? Like, come on, you must, like, if you're gonna write a ransom note, you'd take your own paper and pen, because you wouldn't even know that they're gonna have paper and pen.
Exactly.
Like, some people don't have those things in their house.
It's so strange to me, because if you are going to kidnap someone for money, why would you not do it so that you're actually going to get this money? You're obviously not going to get the money if you just kill them and dump their body in the basement where they're going to be found.
That ransom note, it's...
what's the motive? I don't get it. Like, you've killed someone. Do you think they're just not going to check the whole house and that they'll just send you the money? Like, you take the body somewhere else. Like, that's just so bizarre to me.
But what I don't understand is how, after all of this, and like there's such obvious things, like there's such obvious clues in like the ransom note and the window and the no intruders, and why the police didn't treat the family like suspects from the beginning.
Yeah, there is apparently reports that they had very, very good connections with the police and the people who were high up in like that detective.
And they were a high-earning family.
Yeah.
And like, you know from like the Madeleine McCann case that when people have high profile and they've got a lot of money, that things don't really, justice doesn't happen in the way it should.
Yeah, I think it was the parents. They definitely had something to do with it, surely.
Oh God, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because no one else is in the house, and they lied about Burke being asleep when he was present with the phone call. He stayed silent for so long as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the interview that he did with Phil, what's his name? Dr. Phil. He looks so sketchy in it, doesn't he? He looks so uncomfortable, and when he talks about it, it's like he's got this weird, uncomfortable smile on his face, and like all of it just really doesn't add up.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. So that might be something you want to go and look into yourself. Like we said, we'll link like the documentary and stuff. It's weird when things are unsolved because that's probably never going to get proven. But another thing is that, I know we're obsessed with Shane Dawson, but basically he had these two psychic twins on one of his YouTube videos who said that they had spoken to Jonbenet, and she said she was raped and killed by her father. Now, I don't know how much people believe mediums or whatever, but I just think it's another interesting little fact to throw in there.
We'll throw that video in, we'll find it.
Yeah, I'll link that as well. So yeah, so it's crazy really, but no one will probably never actually know what happened. But
rest in peace, Jonbenet. I'm sorry that you're turning in your grave, because no one really knows the true story.
I know.
It's sad though, isn't it? Yeah. Like, poor 6-year-old life, and
how do people get away with this stuff, man? Like, how can you actually kill someone and just never...
It's because they got money. Like, do you ever see rich people in prison? Like, not very often.
So yeah, so that concludes our little conspiracy theory videos. It's been more of us discussing like our opinions.
Yeah.
So go away and find your own opinions and kind of do your own research and come to your own conclusions, because that's what's good about conspiracy theories. You can think whatever you like. But let us know in the comments like what you think, if you can be bothered. And I've really enjoyed discussing
I've really enjoyed
stuff
this
as well. I think we could do another one.
I mean, me and Colonel don't shut up, so
Yeah, we do.
we're good at talking, aren't we?
Yeah, so maybe next time we'll do like a little vote or something, and we'll talk about some more conspiracy theories.
Because there is so much to talk about.
Yeah, there is literally. But yeah, we hope you've enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for coming on my channel.
Thank you, and thanks to you for having me.
Make sure that you like and subscribe and turn on that bell notifications, and leave me some feedback about this video. I'm still new to this, so I'm not perfect, but yeah, I'm enjoying it.
You are perfect.
Oh, baby. And now we're gonna go and go out for a meal. So.
Oh yeah.
So I will see you on next time's video. I hate doing it outros. I'll see you next time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.